They called the cops on me on my own land. I was holding a fishing rod, not a weapon. And yet there I stood, surrounded by flashing lights like I just committed a federal crime. What the HOA didn't know was that this lake, this land, every rock, tree, and blade of grass, belonged to me. Not them. And once I proved it, the tables turned in the most unexpected way. It all started on a Saturday morning. Peaceful. Quiet. Just the way I liked it. I woke up before sunrise, packed a thermos of coffee, grabbed my fishing gear, and headed down to the lake. My ranch, nestled right on the edge of a growing suburban development, had been in my family for over 4 generations. 80 acres of beautiful Texas land, complete with a spring-fed lake my grandfather dug out with his bare hands and a backhoe in the early 70s. I spent my childhood summers fishing and swimming in that lake. It wasn't just water, it was legacy. As I approached the lake that morning, something felt off. Several neatly printed signs had been hammered into the ground along the dirt path, private property. HOA members only. Trespassers will be prosecuted. I stood there for a second, confused. My land. My lake. HOA? I didn't remember ever joining one. That part of the development, Sunny Ridge Estates, had expanded right up to the border of my property. But I'd never sold, never signed, never participated in anything that would rope me into a homeowners association. I ripped the nearest sign out of the ground, tossed it aside, and kept walking. 10 minutes later, I cast my line and settled into my fold-up chair at the edge of the water. Just listening to the birds and sipping my coffee. It was pure peace. Until it wasn't. A black SUV rolled up behind me. Tires crunching gravel. I turned, thinking maybe it was one of my ranch hands showing up early. Nope. It was Karen. Didn't know her name at the time, of course, but you can smell a Karen from a mile away, pastel visor. Death grip on a Starbucks cup. And eyes that scanned me like I was graffiti on a church wall. She rolled down the window halfway. Excuse me, sir. This is HOA land. Only residents of Sunny Ridge Estates are allowed to use the lake. I stared at her, baffled. Ma'am, this is my lake. You're on my property. She scoffed. No, this lake is part of the Sunny Ridge Natural Preservation Area. Our HOA has jurisdiction. If you don't leave immediately, I'll call the police. I smiled calm. Do what you need to do. And she did. 20 minutes later, 2 sheriff's deputies pulled up. Lights flashing. They walked toward me like I was poaching bald eagles. Karen watched from the sidelines, arms crossed like she was starring in some neighborhood watch drama series. Sir, one deputy said, we received a report of trespassing on HOA land. Do you have identification or proof of residence? I stood up slowly and pulled out my wallet. I've got something better than that. Back at the ranch house, I kept all my land deeds in a fireproof safe. I invited the deputies to come with me. Karen tried to tag along. No ma'am, I said. You've done enough. At the house, I opened the safe and laid out the documents. Deeds, boundary maps, my name, my grandfather's name, clear as day. That lake? Smack dab in the middle of my property. One of the deputies scratched his head. Looks like you're the legal owner. This lake isn't HOA property. I nodded. Told you. Back at the lake, Karen was still waiting. Arms now slumped. Confusion and irritation all over her face. The deputy told her plainly, ma'am, this gentleman owns the land. The HOA has no authority here. She turned red, then white, then some strange shade of pale green. But we've been using this lake for our events. We host paddle yoga and summer picnics here. I looked right at her. Then you've been trespassing. I figured that would be the end of it. It wasn't. The very next day, I spotted a group of HOA board members walking the lake's edge with clipboards, measuring tape, and a drone. I stepped out from behind a tree and scared the life out of one of them. You lost? I asked. The guy, probably the HOA president, adjusted his glasses. We're doing a boundary assessment. If this lake isn't ours, we need to verify the actual lines. I told them they had 30 seconds to leave. They didn't listen. So I called the sheriff myself. Yeah, hi. I'd like to report trespassers. HOA members. My land. Watching them scatter when the deputies showed up? Glorious. I thought that would shut it down. Nope. 1 week later, I got a cease and desist letter from the HOA's lawyer. They claimed historical community use rights. accused me of interfering with their access. My lawyer sent back a letter of his own. Included aerial photos from the last 10 years. Showed clearly, no HOA development touched the lake until 2 years ago. We also added a very polite threat to sue them for harassment and repeated trespassing. Thought it was over. Nope. Then came the fence. Woke up one morning to the sound of power tools. Drove down to the lake and found HOA guys putting up a chain link fence. Claimed it was their rightful access path. The problem? Still on my side of the property line. That was the last straw. I called my cousin Travis. He owns a backhoe and likes cold beer. 3 hours later, their fence was gone. Replaced with a proper one. Tall, wooden, reinforced with security cameras. Private property signs everywhere. I even made a custom sign. HOA not welcome. Owner, not you. 3 days later, a local news crew showed up. Apparently, the HOA president told them I was a greedy land baron blocking community access to a historic neighborhood lake. So I gave them the truth. Deed in hand, I looked straight at the camera. This land's been in my family nearly 100 years. The HOA tried to steal it. They called the police on me. Tried to fence it off. Sent lawyers to my door. But I'm not going anywhere. The story went viral. What happened next? Almost poetic. Turns out a lot of people in Sunny Ridge hated the HOA. Once the truth came out, the floodgates opened. Residents demanded resignations. Filed complaints with the county. The county stepped in. Issued a formal boundary confirmation. That lake? 100% mine. The HOA president resigned in disgrace. Karen stopped showing up altogether. As for me, I turned the lake into a private fishing club. Invite only. Veterans, disabled kids, single moms, they fish for free. Now, dozens visit every month. Grateful. Respectful. Nothing like that HOA crowd. Sometimes I see Karen drive by slowly, staring at the new sign on the gate. It reads private fishing. Trespassers will be hooked. So yeah, the HOA called the cops on me, and they learned the hard way, don't pick a fight over land when the guy holding the fishing rod also owns the dirt beneath your feet.